Xin chào, Vietnam. It is my great pleasure to extend warm greetings to all distinguished guests and colleagues present today. My name is Paul Grimes, and I currently serve as Chief Professionalism Officer for Financial Planning Standards Board, or FPSB as it is more commonly known. I am truly honoured to be part of this meaningful gathering and to witness the passion and commitment for financial planning in Vietnam. Vietnam has a vibrant and growing community of financial planners who are not only developing their careers, but also shaping the future of the profession in Vietnam. I would like to acknowledge the important roles of Van Lang University, VFCA, FIDT, and of course, all of our colleagues who are working together to build a strong foundation for financial planning in Vietnam. So my next agenda item was to speak to you about growth in financial planning numbers. So as at the end of December of 2024, there are 230,000 CFP professionals practicing globally. You can see the dispersion of those CFP professionals on the map in front of you. So as I speak to you today, FPSB has a presence in 28 territories internationally. It is a key strategy for FPSB that we grow both the number of CFP professionals, but also to grow the number of territories. And to that end, we are in the process of launching a substantial program in South America, particularly the Pacific Alliance region, which will include Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and Chile. But we are also looking to expand our presence in Asia. In terms of CFP certification then, and what it takes to become a CFP professional, and this is a global standard, or global standards, they are obviously adapted to suit local territories, but the key components are that individuals must be put through a program of education that meets our body of knowledge. There is a need for a professional examination that is run by an organization that is independent of the education process. There is a need for the individual to commit to abide by FPSB's Code of Ethics and are required to make a testamentary statement to that effect. Experience is required. And lastly, individuals are expected to be able to create a financial plan and are assessed on that ability. So they are the component parts that are required for individuals to successfully meet in order to become a CFP professional. Thereafter, obligations don't cease. There is, most importantly, a need to commit to ongoing professional development, and there are minimum standards that FPSB applies, quite apart from which most territories have minimum standards that are set by local regulators. So to share with you what difference it makes from a consumer perspective as to whether they work with a CFP professional or indeed a different type of financial advisor, different in the sense that they might hold different qualifications. So in 2023, FPSB conducted research that involved more than 15,000 consumers around the world to examine the value of financial planning and measure the impact that financial planning has on consumers. And basically, the research concluded that consumers or clients of CFP professionals experience a higher quality of life, feeling better about their health, connections, purpose, and life satisfaction. They are more satisfied with their financial situation, feeling better about their feeling better about their spending capability, personal financial risk management, and overall wealth. They have greater confidence, feeling more confident about their financial security and ability to achieve their personal financial goals. And their better experience with the financial planning process gives them more optimism about the ability to meet their financial needs and achieve their financial goals. So in short, the research was a resounding endorsement for the designation that is CFP certification and the value that it brings both to consumers and by extension to practitioners that hold the designation. The survey also indicated that 98% of respondents trust their financial planner to act in the best interest of the client, with 92% suggesting that they are likely to continue their relationship with their CFP professional. In terms of firms, does it matter whether firms adopt or employ CFP professionals? And again, some research that FPSB conducted in 2014 suggests that it does, that clients that deal with CFP professional are more satisfied. The quality of the engagement, and particularly the integrated financial planning that CFP professionals bring to the table, resulted in increased share of wallet, and also to reduced complaints. So from a risk management perspective, less complaints attaching to CFP professionals than to other qualified financial advisors. And so this brings us to the next consideration, which is what is the role and value of CFP certification in improving financial advisor standards? And in dealing with this particular question, I suppose, first of all, we need to reflect on whether, in fact, the CFP certification does improve financial advisor standards. And to answer that, I want to reflect on a summation of two of the pieces of research that I have referenced a few moments ago. This is drawn from research in 2023. Again, I just want to perhaps explain that this is research conducted independent of FPSB. So the methodology is that there are 1,000 consumers randomly chosen by the research company within each of the territories, and the results are collated. So this is a broad international perspective. It is not reflective of any one territory. And this particular outcome, what we've constructed is a set of indices and measuring client or consumer satisfaction with dealing with financial advisors. And if I explain the top line and the logic flows through, under quality of life, so those clients or consumers that have some form of financial planning in situ, but do so unadvised, so that they have no relationship with any financial advisor, they have a rating on the index of 66 in terms of quality of life. And so the comparison then is to the rating against those that have used financial advisors other than those that are CFP professionals. And you can see there is a premium to that financial advice of 3 on the index. It moves from 66 to 69. Most interestingly then is how does the index relate to CFP professionals? And you can see that there's a further jump to 73 on the index for those that work with CFP professionals. So in answering the question as to whether CFP certification improves the quality of advice, we can confidently say yes. On this particular measure of quality of life, there's a premium of, we would suggest, 7 points on the index. That is a reflection of that improved quality. And you can see other scores there against consumer feelings in terms of financial confidence, financial satisfaction, and the experience of the financial planning process that CFP professionals use. So that's the first lens I wanted to examine this question through. And then the second lens is whether firms believe that there is a value in CFP certification. And again, clearly this conclusion from, again, a global piece of research would suggest that we can confidently say that firms do recognize the premium of employing and working with CFP professionals. And I'll draw your attention to the middle box in terms of client complaints. We can see that approximately 60% of the firms that took part in this research have indicated that there are fewer customer complaints against the firm when compared to those who are not certified. So again, I think it is a reasonable conclusion to be able to say that through the lens of firms, definitely there is evidence that CFP certification improves the quality of financial advice. For completeness, I'll just refer briefly to the other 2 boxes on this particular slide. So those that talk about client satisfaction, 84% of participating firms indicated that client satisfaction rated higher when working with a CFP professional. And then in terms of client retention, 76% of participating firms indicating that there is improved client retention when clients are working with CFP professionals. So using those two pieces of research gives us confidence to be able to say that definitely CFP certification improves the quality of advice from financial advisors. The third lens I'd like to touch on very briefly, and I do not have any research to support this one, so this is more based on my personal experience, both with FPSB, but prior to my career with FPSB, which is regulators, and how do regulators perceive the value of CFP certification. And again, I can say with confidence from my time as CEO of FPSB in Ireland, that regulators in Ireland very definitely took the view that CFP professionals delivered a more professional service with reduced customer complaints coming into regulators than would otherwise be the case from financial advisors generally. And how this can be evidenced in a material sense is that insurance companies in Ireland, when offering professional indemnity insurance to CFP professionals, or those firms using CFP professionals, offered a premium that was reflective of a reduced level of risk of complaints arising from dealing with those particular individuals. So that is the I suppose the evidential piece to sort of back up that claim that regulators and through them the reaction of insurance firms in reducing risk premiums supports the view that regulators, certainly in Ireland, recognize the value of CFP certification and how it improves financial advice. And so to the future of financial planning, and there's a couple of pieces of research that I particularly wanted to share with you in this space. So the first dates back to 2021, when FPSB conducted two key pieces of research. The first one was what we call a global job analysis, which basically assesses what it is that CFP professionals do on a day-to-day basis. So in other words, an assessment of the tasks associated with financial planning and to what extent CFP professionals rate the importance of those specific tasks. And then the second piece of research, which is related to the first, was a piece of research on what it is that CFP professionals see changing in the profession in coming years. And the message here was that there's a shift in the practice of financial planning towards what we call human skills. So in other words, there's far more collaboration required with clients. There's far more time being spent on providing objective advice. And then perhaps most importantly, the use of financial coaching to help overcome barriers in decision-making with clients. And so the impact of that research for FPSB would have been that we embarked on a comprehensive review of our global standards, which culminated in the creation of a new framework under the banner of knowing, doing, being. And very simply, knowing refers to what it is that a CFP professional or a competent financial planning professional ought to know in order to be able to competently perform the role. Doing relates to what it is that a financial planning professional ought to be able to do to be deemed to be competent. And then being essentially defines what it is that the financial planning professional ought to hold valuable in terms of how it is that they work with clients. So within that, for example, would be FPSB's Code of Ethics. In terms of maybe some of the key points in terms of what changed within our standards, as I mentioned, the message we're receiving is there's a greater need for an emphasis on human skills. And so under our competency standards or our knowledge-based standards, we added a new knowledge domain, which is psychology of financial planning, which has all to do with what it is or how the human brain is influenced in terms of getting to the point of forming heuristics that are well defined and well set out within traditional behavioral finance theory. So this expands on that and adds into the mix what are the skills that a financial planning professional ought to be able to bring to the table to deal with those particular psychological aspects that clients exhibit. And it extends a little bit into financial therapy. On the more technical side, we added into our body of knowledge some technical content on crypto finance, so beyond just crypto assets and into the broader realm of crypto finance. And then we took the opportunity to review and reassess our practice guidelines for practicing professionals to make sure that they are keeping pace with the evolution in the practice of financial planning, both from a professional perspective, but also from a consumer perspective. So lastly, a word on Vietnam and what FPSB's thoughts and views are in relation to Vietnam. So as I mentioned, FPSB has a strategic objective to continue to develop the presence of the CFP designation within territories in Asia and indeed beyond. And with that in mind, we are actively looking to partner with someone to deliver the program for us within Vietnam. At the moment, we are speaking with VFCA, and VFCA have been invited to attend our global conference in October of this year, where they will be invited to make a presentation to our Chief Executives Committee, which consists of the Chief Executives of the 28 organizations within the territories that currently promote CFP certification. And they will also make a presentation and meet our board of directors. It is our intention that during 2026, FPSB and VFCA will continue to explore the opportunity that exists to launch a program in Vietnam. On that note, I want to say thank you. I will not try to say the words in Vietnamese. I have tried, and it is not pleasant. So I will say thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.